Hello everyone, hope you're all having a great week. My name is Drew, the host of Never Behind. I'm pretty sure that if you have been investing in the market since 2020 and saw the rise of Tesla stocks going up more than 10x in a couple of years, you either wish you had invested back then, or if you have invested, wish you had invested even more seeing how high the stock went up. Now, Ron Baron, who has been investing in Tesla since 2014, when the price was approximately $15 per share and is up over $5 billion in profit, is known for being very picky with his investments and is known for doing tremendous research regarding numbers before putting his money into any company he invests in. Now recently, Ron has shared another company that he is as confident as he was with Tesla back in 2014 and thinks this company can 4x by 2030 and thinks has the potential to grow as fast as Tesla in his opinion. And this is the reason why this company is his fourth largest position in his entire portfolio. In today's video, I will share the company that Ron is so confident about and why he thinks this company can be the next Tesla and easily 4x by 2030. So with that, let's hear what Ron has to say about this company and what the growth potentials are. Now, before getting into this company, I wanted to share that Seeking Alpha is having a great promotion, providing the premium service that was $239 a year, all the way down to $167. And I have also shared an interview with the founder of Seeking Alpha's quant system, showing how he uses the Seeking Alpha platform to find the best 10 stocks in specific industries. So if you are interested in Seeking Alpha, please make sure you check the video on how to use the platform to find great companies to invest in, and also use the link in the description below in order to get the discounts. I've also started a Discord that is 100% free and have great investors regarding stocks, options, swing trading, chart analysis, and even cryptocurrencies sharing their ideas on opportunities for investments every day. So if you're interested in being part of the community, please click the link Discord in the description below. Now, the company that Ron is so excited about and thinks can be the next Tesla is Elon Musk's SpaceX, which is still a private company, but thinks will IPO in the near future. He has shared his rationale about his thesis on why he thinks SpaceX can grow as fast as Tesla and what value SpaceX might grow to by 2030, how strong the moat is for this company, and how ahead SpaceX is compared to any company in this industry, also including spacecraft companies in China that are saying that they could easily replicate what Elon has accomplished with SpaceX. So with that, let's see what Ron shared about SpaceX during this interview with CNBC.
Tesla's the largest and SpaceX is fourth or fifth largest. And those two companies, Tesla's 10%, SpaceX is 4%. So that's where 14% of our money is in those two companies. 86% of our money is not in those two companies. And those two companies are going to be among the fastest, will be among the fastest growing companies that we invest in for a long time to come. SpaceX is a private company still. It's being valued in the stock market on transactions for $150 billion.
That's in the private market in terms of how people are thinking about that private valuation.
That's the transactions are taking place at $150 billion valuation. I think that ultimately, we think that by the time they go public with SpaceX, with Starlink in the next 3 years, 2027 or so, 4 years, the company will be worth $250 to $300 billion. And I think that by 2030, it could be worth somewhere around $500 billion.
Why do you think they're going to go public? There's a need for exits?
Well, a lot of people have been investors for a long time, and they probably want to exit. I don't want an exit in my lifetime, but there are people who want exits. The idea, first of all, what they have is that Elon Musk had the idea to go to Mars. In order to go to Mars, you need to have reusable rockets. That's what he's developed. No one else has been able to have a rocket you can fly over and over and over again. And he analogizes it to if you're going to go from New York to London and you fly in a 747 and you throw it out after every time you use it, it's going to be a very expensive trip. So he wants to have a rocket that can go up and down. We think about it as the railroad to space. Just like the old railroad opened up the West, the railroad that they have is the rocket that goes up and down and you can use over and over again. So other people, it costs them to get to space $100, $200, $300 million. They use a rocket one time and throw it away. And then in order to justify spending that much money on a rocket, you have to have satellites that cost hundreds of millions of dollars also. What we're doing is low Earth orbital rockets, satellites that can go over and over again. And that's a business that can ultimately, Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs think that the opportunity is for $1.2 trillion of annual revenues. $1.2 trillion. No one else can do this. We now have satellites in space that are flipping around. You can watch them. Someone was telling me last night that they actually watched them in a string, and so it's amazing. But all of a sudden, there's like 5,000 satellites up, and you can have internet everywhere. One more point. The United States government feels it's so important to have internet access and all around the country, to everyone have it, that in order to get internet, it costs you $16,000 a mile to string wire in the ground. $16,000 a mile. They just had an article in the Wall Street Journal a week or two ago that talked about they wanted to wire up houses in Nevada desert, and there were $53,000 per house. Biden has a $44 billion program to hook up. So instead of having $53,000 a house, you can buy an antenna for $500 instead of $53,000.
Do we not think that there's going to be a competitor to this? And the reason I ask you, so for example, on the satellite front, Amazon has this thing called the Kuiper Project, right? And they're hoping to get into this space. I imagine there may be a couple others, or do you look at this and say it's like all the automobile makers who are now Tesla, and look how far behind they really are?
China feels that 7 or 8 years that they could be able to re-land, to use a rocket over and over again, and I'm sure they will be able to. China's brilliant people there. They work hard and they're well educated. So basically, of course, they're going to be able to do it ultimately. But we're doing it now, and we've been doing it now for several years already. When we began to invest in SpaceX, so we invested in Tesla 2014 to 2016. We invested starting in SpaceX in summer 2017.
Now, as Ron has mentioned, I do agree that in the near future, traveling from Earth to Mars might be something like traveling from US to China. However, if we were to dispose an aircraft after traveling from US to China, that would be a very expensive ride, since it would be a one-way travel where the airplanes get disposed each time it gets to its destination. Fortunately, we found a way for airplanes to go back and forth, and therefore save a huge amount of money compared to if we were to dispose the plane after a travel. Now, Ron is saying that SpaceX is like a railroad from a planet to another planet, and Elon Musk has made it possible that we could use a spacecraft to go back and forth rather than going one way and throwing the aircraft away in space as we have been doing until now. And experts are saying that this is an industry worth $1.2 trillion, and we have just started. And therefore, the company that leads this sector will have unlimitless growth potentials, and Ron thinks that no other company can even come close to competing with SpaceX, just like no other company can compete with Tesla regarding EVs and full self-driving platforms, and therefore have an enormous moat in the space sector. Now, when the host asked whether he thinks China would be a competitor in this industry, Ron did admit that people in China are smart and hardworking, so they can duplicate what SpaceX has done, but will take approximately 7 to 8 years from now. So again, yes, China can do what SpaceX has done in the future, but the point is, SpaceX is already doing it, and in 7 to 8 years, SpaceX will be at a level where there is no way for China to even come close to competing with where SpaceX is in the industry. So the moat for SpaceX is growing over time and is becoming very solid, and that is why Ron decided to invest in SpaceX since 2017. Now, we will have to see if SpaceX can keep up with what they say they will be doing, but based on Ron's evaluation and research, SpaceX does look like the Tesla in the space industry. So with that, I hope this content was helpful evaluating the potential value of SpaceX and why it stands out in the space industry. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you on my next videos.